Debbie Marcoux is licensed by the Department of Financial Institutions and MLS ID 237926. Also licensed in Arizona 0941504, Florida LO 76508, Georgia 69178, Idaho, Nevada 57237, Oregon, Tennessee 184373, Texas, Washington MLO 237926.
She's the mortgage mom. She can get things done when you're in need and don't know where to go. Pick up the phone and call mom.
All right, well, welcome to Mortgage Mom Radio. I am Debbie Marcoux, and this is, like I said, Mortgage Mom Radio. I am the Mortgage Mom, and every week we are bringing you education and information about all things real estate and mortgage. Anything that might be changing in the industry, we are trying to bring to your attention to make sure that we are helping educate you and get you prepared for all of your financing needs, whether that be for a refinance, a purchase, cash out, home improvements. At the end of the day, we're trying to get you guys ready and prepared. So today I have George Hartman on with me. How are you doing, George?
I'm doing great and glad to be back with some big changes that are going to help a lot of people.
We have some huge changes today. So for everybody watching, this is George Hartman. He is with Credit Repair in 30, and he does credit repair. So when somebody comes to me and they need a little bit of help or work on the credit report, and they say, well, where can I go? Who would you suggest? It is George Hartman that we send you to. So we've got big news coming out in the world of credit. So that is why George is on here to talk to us about it today. How will those corrections change or help your credit score? Are you going to see some lift in that, in where you are today versus where you've been? So we're going to just do a bunch of credit talk today. So George, thank you so much for joining. I always appreciate it when you're here. It's going to be a great episode. I'm super excited. I do want to remind everybody that this is an interactive show. So if you are watching us do this live right now on YouTube, Facebook, or Twitch, you guys can please put your questions into the feed, and George will answer those questions for you. So use this as a great way to get a consultation anonymously. Nobody needs to know who you are, even if your name shows up in the feed. Many of us, there could be a million Jennifer Joneses. So don't be scared. Put your question in there. I will read it to George. He will answer it for you. If you guys are just on and you're watching, say hi. Let us know that you're there. We'd love to know that you're, part of the show. So I do have Heather jumps on. She says, hi, everyone. And Cindy says, happy Monday. So happy Monday to you, Cindy. And Heather, thanks for watching as usual. And again, if you guys are out there, you have questions, please put those into the feed. Today is all about credit repair. We're going to talk about why he calls himself Credit Repair in 30. But the big thing that we're going to jump into first is, what are those changes that are coming? And I do believe it's happening in July. And for many of you, you're going to see some improvements to that credit score, which is very exciting. So, George, why don't you go ahead and get us started? What have we got? What's coming? What's planned?
Oh, well, I tell you, it's good to be back again on Mortgage Moms. Can you believe it? We have been working together for 10 years.
I know. It's crazy.
March is 10 years that I've ventured off into getting my own credit fixed and, learned some extra things that brought me to, between that 750 and 800 mark. And I've been helping people ever since. So, this is a big announcement coming with medical bills. Medical bills are a huge problem. And, a lot of people would think credit cards are, the number one debt, but it's actually medical bills. So this is going to be a huge improvement. It's going to come quickly. And there's basically three major changes that are coming. And that is two of them on July 1st. The first one is that any medical debt, and I highly suggest disputing them first for removals, but any verified medical debt that is settled and they are highly negotiable will be automatically removed from the credit report.
Okay, wait. So back up. Back up. This is exciting. So I don't even want you to go on to the next piece yet. So let's stop there. So anything that is on your credit report right now. So for example, I obviously have a bunch of kids. We've had open heart surgeries. We've had knee surgeries. We have therapy happening on a daily basis inside of my house that is all, running through insurance. So I do have on my credit report, I do have one bill that slipped through the cracks no matter, and I'm on them, man. I see these medical collections. I know what they do to people's credit reports. An $80 medical collection collection can drop your credit score like 100 points. I've seen it happen. So I'm on it. I mean, I am absolutely on all of them. I don't want them to be there, but I did have one that slipped through the cracks. I don't even know if I even got the bill. I paid it. I fought with these guys. I tried to get it removed. They do nothing for me. They did update the bill to paid, but they wouldn't remove it from my credit report. So are you saying that now if you negotiate the collection and you pay it off, it's going to come off the credit report?
That is correct. That's correct. So come July 1st, once a medical debt is settled with the creditor to a zero balance, they will not only mark it to zero and close, but they will remove it completely from the credit report, which will have a positive effect on the credit score.
That is huge. Huge.
I mean, we haven't seen a change like this in a really long time since, one with tax liens which were being removed. And we really didn't see, what I thought we would see from that. But come medical bills, we deal with that on a daily basis. And you and I for 10 years now, when we see medical bills go away, we see a significant jump in scores. So it's going to be exciting for everybody.
Yeah, I tell you, when they came out with that tax lien thing, we really did think that we were going to see a big change in the credit scores that our clients had that might have had a, tax lien against their credit report. And it really didn't change the score very, very little, if any at all. So it was nice that it wasn't on the report. I think it does make people feel better that it's not there. It's probably made it easier for them to get financing if they were to go and apply for, a boat loan or an RV loan, something that's not a mortgage, without having that kind of staring at the creditor in their face that it's, reported on the report. But in terms of their actual credit score change, it really didn't do very much. Now, the medical bills are going to do a huge amount because, again, I've seen people that, I ran their credit report 3 months ago. It's a pre-approval. Their credit score was fantastic. The credit report is just only good for so long. So now it's time to rerun a new report and boom, we've lost, 70, 80, 100 points in their credit score. And the only thing that changed was a $54 collection. I mean, just something so insignificant, and it kills them. It gives them a lower interest rate. Sometimes the loan doesn't get approved to as high of a debt ratio. Just so many changes can happen with one $54 blemish. And so getting it to actually be removed is usually what we always tell our clients is you need to call, you need to beg, you need to plead, you need to do whatever you need to do to get this thing paid. Pay them every dollar they want if they're willing to take it off, because the whole name of the game is get it off the report. Getting it off the report, not just updating it to zero, is where we see our best improvement. So this is very exciting that if you're going to negotiate to pay the bill, now you have the opportunity to negotiate. Will you take less than what I owe you? Okay, great, you will. I'm going to pay you off. And now it actually has to be removed. So that's going to be some big, big stuff. So I know that there's more though, right? I do want to say, Heather says, hi, George. George is great with credit repair. So Heather, you are absolutely right. I get people ask me all the time. The biggest question, I just got one last week, was, do you think that it's worth it to work with a credit repair agency? Do you really think that they're going to help me? And my actual standard answer always is, I can't vouch for other credit repair companies, but the gentleman that I have worked with, I have seen some amazing results. And obviously, every single person has a different credit profile, and I can't promise that George is going to get everybody the exact same result. But 9 times out of 10, if they do everything that you tell them to do, you're not getting things removed without credit scores going up. So credit repair is absolutely beneficial. And I'm telling you guys, you're looking at him right now. If you're watching us on YouTube or Facebook or Twitch, George Hartman is the man. So it's Credit Repair in 30. You're creditrepair30.com, correct?
That is correct. Yeah, creditrepair30.com. And I really appreciate that. And it's been fun, helping all these people. And it is a process. It's a process that works, that I've been through personally from the beginning. And now these additions with these, extra things like the collection companies now are, offering letters. There's some things that are going on that are really making it worth what I call my credit academy, because it's really about getting an education in credit by the time you're done that you can pass on to your children, because no one's teaching your family this information.
They're not. Don't you wish, don't you, I truly believe that one of the high school courses, not college, because how many people don't go to college? There's many occupations out there that you don't need to go. And so, and we need to have people in those positions, right? So I don't think that it should be a college course. I truly think that it should be a high school course, just like they offer home ec for cooking, right? They should truly be offering something where they're teaching our kids how to balance a checkbook. Maybe they don't write out a check anymore and use the old school checkbook balance, but many of them, how about using Quicken or QuickBooks, to keep their banking all downloaded and in order? And how about, how do you buy a house and what kind of savings should you have? And especially credit, right? Your life revolves around your credit and how good is that credit score. And that's going to get you the things that you need, whether you're trying to start your brand new business and you're trying to get an SBA loan, you need to have that credit, right? So I really, really wish that our high schools would implement something like that into, what they are teaching those kids, because those are truly things that are so important to understand and to learn, and they just don't do it. But hey, you guys could sign up for George. You can get your credit fixed, learn along the way, and teach your kids. So I love that. That was pretty cool, George, that you even brought that up. So I just want to jump in really quick. My dad jumps on. He says, "Hi guys, I got this right this time." So yes, Dad, you did. He keeps every week. He goes to the wrong show. It's like last week's show he ends up at, and he's making comments, and I'm texting him afterwards. I'm like, "You're watching the wrong show." So yes, Dad, you're on the right one. You're here today. And again, I just want to remind everybody, this is George Hartman with Credit Repair in 30. So it's Credit Repair in in30.com if you guys want to check out how to get your credit report fixed. And we're going to take a super quick break, but remember, this is an interactive show. So if you guys have questions that you want to ask about getting your credit fixed, please feel free to do that. Throw the question into the feed. I'm going to read it out loud to George so that he can answer it for you. We've got big changes coming in July about medical collections. So anybody at all that has a medical collection on their credit report, you guys want to be listening. George has given you some of the information. Number one change, and there's two more to come, but the first one is if you negotiate and you pay the bill and it is a zero balance, as of July 2022, the medical collections are supposed to be coming off that credit report. So that is number one change. So we're going to be talking about two more. We're going to take a super quick break, 10 seconds, and we'll be right back. All right. Welcome to Mortgage Mom Radio. Welcome back. I am Debbie Marcoux, and today we have George Hartman with Credit Repair in 30. He is talking all about credit with us today. And I want to remind everybody, this is interactive. So if you have questions, throw them into the feed. This is the best time you could get a consultation and get your question answered without having to actually call up George and get a consultation and begin his program. So take advantage. I had Carrie jump on. She says, "Hi, Debbie and George. Great info. I have a $53 medical collection. Oh, I got a $53 medical collection off my credit, and it shot up over 50 points." So that is exactly what I was saying. Thank you for sharing that, Carrie. $53 medical collection, removing it increased her credit score by 50 points. So this is very, very exciting news. Very big changes coming. If you have a bunch of medical collections, your credit score is low, you thought you'd never have the opportunity to buy a house, your ears should be perked up and your head should be tilting sideways, kind of like our doggies. And you guys should be listening in because this is some good stuff. So George, give us the scoop. So what's the skinny? What's number two that is changing in July?
Okay. And before I answer that, what a great, everybody needs to reverse this and catch that last little segment that you talked about the high school and teaching these kids, all of these basics. And how about credit card management?
Oh yeah.
I got into trouble with my very first credit card because I just didn't know any better. I bought tires and rims for a truck that I had that I was paying on that credit card 3 years after I sold the truck, because I was never given the information. So it cost me money for so many years. And this is what we educate people on is, how not only how to get all the proper accounts, but how to manage it, not only from a financial standpoint, but how about from a mental standpoint? Because a lot of this stuff comes down to habits and what we're doing. So we do teach that, but yeah, great stuff for sure. So number two on this medical bill stuff. So typically when a any debt goes to collection, it normally goes in this phase. It'll go 30 days late. Now, a 30-day late is one of the two key principles to maintaining great credit. Because when you make a 30-day late, whether it's on, and this happened to me, believe it or not, on a $6.25 credit card fee. I didn't even buy anything and just missed paying the $6.25 fee. I got a 30-day late payment. And it took me 18 months of fighting that 30-day late to get it removed. So debts go 30 days, 60 days, 90 days, 120, 150. When it hits the 6-month time frame, that's when it goes on the credit report and it becomes a charge-off. And now medical bills, instead of a 6-month cycle, will be going to 12 months. So they will not hit the credit report for 12 months, giving somebody the opportunity to even know they have one before it's all of a sudden slapped on their credit report, which once it gets there is so difficult to remove. So they're going to double the time. Instead of 6 months to hit the credit report, it's going to be 12 months.
Very nice. That is very, very good. Because again, like you said, I mean, many times you don't even get the bill. What I found has happened, and actually just literally happened to me today. I was in the hospital back in April of last year, and I had a cardiologist do, obviously they ordered all these tests while you're in the hospital. And, one of the tests was to get, I think I had an EKG, and there was a cardiologist that read the EKG results. And, so I've got a $54 balance with him, and I didn't even know it. They never sent me even a bill. I moved, right? I moved in late October, November of 2021, and we're in March of almost April of 2022. I have yet to receive a bill in the mail. They probably didn't even send out a bill until after I'd already moved, but I was in the hospital in April. So you're talking about 9, 10, 11 months sometimes before these medical bills even get shipped out. And if you do move, it can very easily not find you, not get to you. You didn't even know that it existed. I got very, very lucky that this this doctor's office, their medical billing department, actually sends out text messages to remind you that you have a bill that is due. So I got this text message and I called immediately. I didn't even know I had a bill, right? Because like I said at the beginning, I'm very sensitive to these medical collections because of what they've done to me in the past, right? And seeing all of my clients and what they've done to them. So I called right away, and they're sending me a new copy of the bill to my new address so that I can get that bill paid. But, sometimes it can be 8, 9, 10, 12 months before a doctor will even get that bill out. So, remember that if you did see the doctor, you do probably have a bill. If you never saw it come, it doesn't mean that you lucked out. You should probably call all of your doctor's offices, something to put in the back of your mind if you've got a change in address, that, you need to not just let your credit cards know and your the DMV and your insurances and all of the important people know, but you need to let all of your doctor's offices know as well. That is just something, to keep in the back of your head, and something I just learned literally today. So tip of advice from the Mortgage Mom. Anyway, again, I just want to remind you guys, it's an interactive show. If you have questions, please put those questions into the feed. George is more than happy to answer them for you. We're going to talk about the third piece of the puzzle that is changing come July with these medical collections. We're going to take a super quick break, and when we get back, we're going to jump right back in. So we'll be right back. All right. So welcome back to Mortgage Mom Radio. I am Debbie Marcoux. I am the Mortgage Mom. We are bringing you all the education and information that you could need for all things real estate related. We are trying to keep you guys at the top of the education information scale so that you are moving forward in the right direction for you and your family. So today we've got George Hartman on with Credit Repair in 30. So if you go to his website, he is creditrepair.in30.com. You guys can sign up for his for his credit repair program, and he is going to educate you and get you off on the right foot. I do want to talk about what our number 3 change is to the medical collections that are coming out in July, and how we're going to see improvements in credit score. But then after that, don't go away, because I do want to get into all of the things that George can work on, things that he's seen a lot of benefit from, kind of ease of getting things removed, credit score improvements. So we're going to talk all about credit repair as well while we've got him and he's here on the show. So let's hurry up and jump into what is number 3. What do we see coming, George?
All right, number 3, I think is really big. It's going to be the beginning of the year, so not until the end of this year, first part of next year. And this is a big one. Any medical debt under $500 is going to be dropped from the credit report. So that is just absolutely huge. If it's not over 500, it won't be reported, and anything under 500 will be dropped from the credit report. So, there's so many of them that are those $26. I mean, I see them every day like crazy. This is going to be a lot of fun to watch and a lot of fun to see. And unfortunately, there's no book or manual that's going to tell us exactly how many points we're going to get from these. It's just, they don't have one from the very beginning. They're not going to have one for this, but we know based on removals, you get, improvement. So this is a really big one. Anything under 500 is going to be dropped from that credit report. So that's going to be huge.
That is awesome. So as I'm talking about my, my small, I think the one honestly that's on my credit report, I want to say it was like $200 or something. It was definitely a copay for one of the kids for an echo or something. But Carrie jumping on saying $53, shot up her credit score by 50 points. So imagine if you have 2 or 3 or 4 of those. And that's sometimes what happens. They kind of come in waves, because typically when there is a medical event, something that happened, you're in the emergency room, you end up in the hospital, you get admitted, you're there for 3 or 4 days, you see 95 different doctors. There's somebody that took an x-ray. There's somebody that read the x-ray. There's somebody that did the echo. There's somebody that read the echoes, right? And they're charging you individually from each one. And some of these people are in network and some of them are out of network, and the hospital isn't, walking into your room saying, hey, so we need to get you this, EKG today. But the guy that we've got on staff, we checked it out and he's not part of your, he's not in network for you. So would you like us to, maybe change that and do the EKG tomorrow? And then that way we've actually got somebody that is part of your network, or, you want to go ahead and do it today. They're not asking you that question, right? They're not giving you that chance or that opportunity. It's just happening. And the next thing you know, you've got like 25 bills in your mailbox and you're in the hospital for 3 or 4 days. So a lot of times we'll see multiple medical collections for one person. So imagine if you could get 3, 4, 5 of those medical collections just drop off. We're going to see those credit scores truly go through the roof.
Yeah, along with all the other strategies we're teaching, that's just going to be a huge bonus to get people there faster.
Yeah. I am so excited, George. Like, really, I just had a lady email me, I would say 2 weeks ago. And her biggest thing is that they wanted to leave California. They're looking to go to Tennessee. She's got a ton of medical collections on her credit report. So she's really, really worried. Her credit score is low. She wanted to know, here was the big question, and you're on the show. She wanted to know if I felt that, credit repair was good. Did it really work? Was it worth the money? Should she explore it? And so number one, I do think that it works. I do think that it is worth the money. I have seen some massive improvements come, out of your company with clients that we've referred to you. But somebody, in her situation, she may not necessarily, need as much help as what she thinks in her brain, right? Or in her mind, with all of these changes that are coming. Maybe she doesn't, some of it's going to fall off all on its own, but where she would really come in handy, and I'm going to let you talk about this, but in my opinion, if you've got a lot of medical collection on your credit report, you probably have more than just the $40 and $50 and $60 bills. She's probably got some bills on there that are higher in price, right? And they're not going to just fall off because they're under $500. And so what would you suggest in that situation? I get that email, and what does George say?
It's pretty much a broad question because it could be asked in any one of the facets of credit with any, a medical bill, or it could be, a late payment, multiple late payments, or, multiple credit card. It could be the same question. But here's what I feel is a little bit different about my program than most. I had to learn this the hard way is you should be in charge of every purchase that you make. You should be in charge. The lender should not be in charge. And the only way that you're in charge is when your credit score is not only as top shape as it can be, but you understand your credit. So in my opinion, is it worth it to go through my program, for what I charge for my program, and you truly understand your credit report? I take you line by line down your credit report and teach you the credit repair game. I mean, what would you pay for that? Like I think back to my life of 40 years. I'm going to be 60 this year. So I got my first, and I joked about the first credit card, right? It was no joke. I was 19 years old. I got my first credit card, and by the end of the day, it was maxed out.
You're saying they were doing credit cards for wheels and tires 40 years ago?
Yeah, you believe that?
I'm just kidding with you.
We'll put it this way: the tires and wheels were worth more than the truck.
Right? Of course they were.
But and then even from there, I didn't get taught correctly, and we don't get taught for a reason. There's a reason they love the fact that I put 2,400 on there and made minimum payments forever. That's what it's designed to do. So my program is going to take you through all the personal mistakes, not only that I made, but also to get you back on track. So that puts you in charge of every purchase that you make. And, is it worth it? I don't know. We give a money back guarantee. In 10 years, we've refunded 10 people.
Wow.
In 10 years. My last refund was over 5 years ago because Debbie, I do a consultation and a full analysis. It costs a client $1 to do that, to get a professional analysis before they even move forward. So, I know if I can help somebody or not. We're not going to, we'll give the tips if all they need is some tips. Fantastic. We can get them there a lot faster, right? You've sent a lot of people over thinking that they were going to need to go through the process and, take the time to do that when they only needed a couple instructions because they weren't handling this or that correctly. And we were able to fix that. So to have a complete consultation on your credit, whether it's me or it's somebody else, absolutely get it done. Just make sure that you go through somebody reputable that you believe in, that's going to refer you, and then also have a money back guarantee that you're safe getting into what you're doing.
Yeah. And I love the money back guarantee because I think that does help people to feel better about investing the money into the program. There are a lot of programs out there. I've seen them being in this industry for as long as I have been. And I've seen, a lot of money spent, monthly fee, they charge a monthly cost until the program's over. And that monthly cost could drag out for years at a time. And, by the time you're all said and done, it's significantly more than just paying a one-time upfront fee, to make sure that you're getting your life back on track. So I do absolutely love that you offer that. I think that just truly stands behind your name and what you do and what you're aiming for. And the fact that you're trying to get these clients, out of credit repair and into, the next step in their life, whatever that reason is for the credit repair, whether it's trying to buy a place or refinancing their home to get the cash out, or just in general, just getting, maybe they're looking to try to buy their first car and they don't have any credit and you're just kind of giving them that help. But what does bother me, because I am also, when you send those emails out, I love it because I get to see the monthly updates or the, how often that you do them. And here is where we are. And this is where we started. And this is where we are today. What really, really bugs me is when I see somebody whose credit score went the wrong direction. And I love that you do show them what changed, why did their credit score not go up, but instead got worse. And the one thing that I can say is that 10 out of 10 times, it's because somebody didn't take care of their credit. So they've gone into your program, they've paid you the money, you guys are working towards fixing it, you're getting negative things off of the credit report like you've promised, and then boom, there's a brand new collection. Boom, there's a brand new 30-day late. You can't, if George is going to do this with you and you guys are going to spend your money on a program like this, you need to commit. You need to commit to, this is where I'm starting. So I'm going to let you talk a little bit about that, George, because I want people to understand this is a guarantee that George is giving you. But I'm going to tell you right now, if you don't commit to the program and you've got a brand new 30-day later, a brand new collection account, and it makes your credit score go down, there went your guarantee. It just walked right out your door. You're not getting your money back. So just as hard as he has to work, you guys have to commit too. So I do want you to touch on that, George, because I think it's really important and I see it quite a bit. It's really frustrating for me and kind of a disappointment. Obviously not with you and what you're doing, because I'm seeing all these great changes and I'm thinking, yes, I can get this person into the house now. And then I see what the new credit score is and I'm like, no, I can't get them into the house now, and I just want to go over there and give them a mom spanking, So I want you to talk a little bit about that. What do you see and what do you tell people and what do you suggest when you get started?
Well, one of the key things that I've been doing for quite a long time now, especially, since the first few years of, being like a credit repair person, just doing credit repair, that should just be a part of the natural process of becoming a credit expert. I want everybody to be a credit expert. Fixing the bad stuff is just what we have to do along the way. It's part of the process and it's not magic. I have people that do, you wouldn't believe it. They would come to me and, oh, I just have to pay that. And, $50,000 worth of collections is going to just disappear. They really.
Oh, no, we lost him. Hold on. We'll see if he comes back. So George is actually on the road doing this show for me today. I didn't give him any warning whatsoever. We were supposed to do it on Wednesday. Oh, there he is. He's back. So we lost you for a minute. So I was just explaining to everybody that you were not actually supposed to be on the show today. It was supposed to be Wednesday. And I caught you off guard and I said, hey, can we do it today? I literally texted you at like 7:00 this morning. So I was just explaining that you were on the road. You guys can all see if you're watching YouTube or Facebook or Twitch. You guys can see he's in his motorhome. He's got his drape behind him. If he opens that up, it's his bedroom. So thank you for doing this while on the road, George. But we lost you there for a second. You were kind of gone. Oh, and he's gone again. So let's see if he comes back. Hopefully he gets a better connection and he can keep talking about it. But you guys did hear me saying that, it is so important to commit, and he is giving you that education. When you start a program like George's, you need to make sure that you're ready to start paying everything on time. You're ready to do the things that George tells you to do. If you have any medical bills whatsoever that have been coming in the mail that you haven't taken care of, any credit card bills that you haven't been paying, that is the time in which you guys need to make sure that you are Johnny on the spot. You are on high alert, that you have those bills that are due and that you're making sure that those bills are getting paid. It does you absolutely no good whatsoever to get into a credit repair program and to then go late on something, not make a credit card payment, not make a car loan payment, not make your mortgage payment, let that, medical bill that's going to end up in collections go. It just doesn't help you. He's going to do all of this work and you're going to be treading water. You're going to be or on that stationary bicycle. You're going to be seeing improvement. You're going to be seeing things get better. And then all of a sudden, even though a bunch of things came off, you're right back at square one with one 30-day late or with one medical collection. It's really not fun. And you've spent money to get to a better place and to have a higher credit score to be able to obtain or achieve whatever that goal was. And now you're still not there. So just remember that it's very important for you guys to commit before getting into a credit repair program. And, make sure that you are on high alert. You're listening to everything that he's telling you. You're doing everything that he's telling you to do, or it's just not going to be beneficial for you whatsoever. But at the end of the day, if you're asking me, do I feel like it's a benefit? Do I think that you should jump into credit repair if you have some things on the credit report that you'd like to get off? Yes, I do. I do think that it is a benefit. I've seen some major improvements over, the time that I've been doing this, the 10 years that I've been working with George. And I do think that it is very beneficial for you. So if you've been scared, you've been worried, you want to get into a really good program, make sure that you guys either reach out to me and get the information for George. I'd be happy to give you that, or go directly to his website, to creditrepairin30.com. And he spells it with IN and 30. So you don't have to spell out 30. So creditrepairin30.com. That is how you would get George. So hopefully he would be able to, or he will be able to jump back into the Zoom here while we're still moving forward through the show. But if he doesn't, then we'll have him on again, because I did have a bunch more questions that I wanted to ask him, and I wanted you guys to be able to hear those answers, but that's okay. We get it. Again, I didn't give him any warning except for a couple of hours and moved him up a couple of days. So absolutely my fault. We're going to take a super quick break and we'll be right back. All right. Well, welcome back to Mortgage Mom Radio. I'm Debbie Marcoux, and I am the Mortgage Mom. We're giving you all the education and information that you could need for all things real estate and mortgage. So basically, we want you guys buying houses. We want you refinancing. We want you getting cash out. We want you doing home improvements, debt consolidation. And with that, we've got to keep you guys on the leading edge of everything that is happening and transforming in our lending environment. So today, we've got George Hartman on with Credit Repair in 30. We lost George there for a minute. Now it looks like he's on the porch, which is great. He's out of the motorhome and on the porch. So before we lost you, we were talking about, committing to the program, making sure that they're doing everything that they should be doing, following your instructions, not letting things go late, that they're basically on a treadmill treading water if you're fixing things while they're continuing to destroy things, right? So I want you to kind of talk about that one more time, and then I've got a couple additional questions for you before we round out the hour.
We were still pinging.
Yes. All right, you there? He's still trying to get his connection to work well. It is hard when you're on the road, so it's my fault. All right, so hopefully he'll get back. And if not, George, we can always probably get you on just by phone if you want to call in. Oh, there you are. You're back. Look at him moving through. I love it. All right. So he's coming back. We're going to ask him bunches of questions. So anyway, so back to credit. That's the stuff we want to talk about, and we want to make sure that you guys are getting the answers that you need. Think of this as your free consultation. You can ask all the questions that you want. Well, we've got George here on the show. So remember, this is an interactive show. You guys can put all of your questions into the comments and into the feed. I will read those questions out loud to George, and he will answer them for you. And if George keeps going in and out, we're just going to get him on phone instead. But so George, are you back? Can you hear me? Are we rolling?
I can hear you.
All right. Oh, you even sound better. So that's good. I think maybe we might have done it. So so just go back into kind of where we left off with, really committing to your program, because it doesn't do us any good to, start the program, pay the money, and not commit.
Yeah, commitment is going to be the most important thing. It was one of the things for me that took forever. Procrastination on my credit, to get started on it took a while, but once I did, it was like a relief off my back that I finally had somebody to guide me in what I was looking to do. So I do ask everybody that I talk to, what's your commitment level to this? Because it's a very easy program to get into and get started. And, if you have the funds to get started, but to follow through on the instructions, are you committed, regardless? And I do go over the worst case scenarios. Unfortunately, it's a process we all need to go through. So I'm super transparent at the beginning. I'm super transparent throughout the entire process. I share my story and everything I've had to go through to rebuild mine. So yeah, commitment is everything, and not making a late payment, not going up and charging your credit cards up, and all of those types of things I go over with them in the full consultation once we get started, when we do a line by line. But yeah, it is super disappointing, and it does happen, and it blows me away that somebody will actually pay the fee and then, kind of just be lackadaisical about it, when we're all trying to help them, but they got to be willing to help themselves as well. And, there's not a credit report out there that we cannot fix. Everything is fixable. Some things do just take time, but unless you start,
that time's never gonna go by. Look at what we're talking about already. We're already at the end of March. Oh my gosh, I'm just shocked that we're at the end of March. I'm down in Florida and people are talking about going up north already for the summer. I'm like, wow, where did it go?
I know.
Get started today. Get your analysis done. That's just irresponsibility to not take that step to get your credit analyzed for $1 so that you at least know what direction you're going, what's going on your credit report. You should know all of that stuff. And that's what I love teaching.
Yep. So we're going to take a super quick break. And then what I'm going to actually ask you, which I want you to talk about, is what do you mean, get analyzed for $1? So I want you to explain that piece of the puzzle. So let's take a super quick break. We've got you on nice, clear, and loud now. And we'll be right back.
Perfect.
All right. So welcome back to Mortgage Mom Radio. I'm Debbie Marcoux, and today we are talking with George Hartman with Credit Repair in 30. He is giving us all of the tips and advice that we need to make sure our credit scores are at the top of their game. And we started off the episode with talking about how the medical changes are coming this year. A couple of changes in July, another change not until 2023, beginning of the year, but big changes as far as medical collections go. And that is going to definitely help improve some of our credit scores out there. Get you possibly from not being even possible to get lending to actually having a pretty good credit score. So those are super exciting changes. But right before we went to break, George, you mentioned that you said, why would you not at least get analyzed for $1? So explain that to us.
All right. Yeah. So we utilize a secondary service for our credit reports, and and the education begins right even here on this call. When somebody sets up their credit report or they get their credit report, they want to understand if it's a hard pull or a hard hit to their credit, which means that it's going to cost them points, or if it's a soft pull. And these consumer sites that are out there like Experian.com and Credit Karma, there's some good to all of that stuff. And I use a consumer site that costs $1 for somebody to get their credit report for 7 days before they move into a fee that they would pay, to keep that service. So they go, if they've ever set up a Credit Karma or an Experian.com, it's the same exact thing. They set up their credit report for $1. We're able to import that information, create a computerized analysis, along with the fact that I was in the mortgage business for 10 years before I got into my 10 years of doing loans or doing credit repair. So between our two heads together and some knowledge that I have from the past as far as that goes, and then going through this process myself of fixing the credit, I can give them all that information before they spend any more money. So they're going to get that back in an email. As you said, you get CC'd on that so that you can chime in with any information, that you can. And our goal is to get my goal is two things, guys. My program is a 1-year program, and I have two main goals. My first goal is to get you qualified for your loan, whatever it is. If it's your mortgage, if you're looking for, whatever it is you're looking to purchase, I want to get you in position for that. That's goal number one. But goal number two is 750 plus. There's no reason except for time that it will take that you should not have a 750 credit score and know how to keep it there for the rest of your life. And, it's until you put your credit as your number one financial tool and not just something on the side that you have that you might need, or, that you don't really know what's going on. And that's the biggest, I think, crime is that nobody knows really what's going on their credit until they have it run. How many people come to you and they say, oh, I got good credit, but they don't really know. Yeah. And they should.
Right. No, absolutely. I have a lot of people that say their credit is excellent. We pull credit, it's not excellent. So, it's education, like you said, and it's understanding what creates your credit score and why your credit score is where it's at, and what do you need to do to improve it, to get it higher or to get it better. And without the education, you just have no idea. You're just, shooting in the dark, and you think it's good, but it's not, or you need more credit, or maybe you have too much credit, so those are some of the things that you'll talk about. But, really quickly to just kind of work through the hour because we're getting close. I did want to ask you, right, and things change all the time, right? So where something might have been easy to get off of a credit report before, maybe it's becoming a little bit more difficult to see the changes as you're, trying to get things removed for a client. Where are you at right now? What are some of the things that you see that are coming off of the credit report pretty easily? What are some of the things that you've gotten off, but it's a little bit more work? Kind of give us an overflow of where things are at current state.
Yeah, current state, like I said, the biggest change that we're seeing is, the removal of collection items. So to clarify with somebody, what is the difference between a charge off and a collection? Right? They're two different things. So a charge off is actually more difficult to have removed than a collection, because a charge off is still with the main bank. So what it basically means is when you go 30, 60, 90, all the way to 150 days, and then it charges off, that's when the bank writes off the debt, takes the tax deduction, and then has that debt available to be purchased by a collection company. So they're kind of done with it. So dealing with the major banks, unfortunately, those debts need to get settled, but they're very difficult removals. However, you have to get them settled to zero balance. Even if they don't get removed, once 24 months goes by, they might still be in the history, but they're old enough that they're not affecting your credit scores anymore. Now, when they get to collection, those companies, they're more lenient on the amount of money that they'll settle for, and they're more lenient on the collection letters that you can get. So if you're out there and you're working on your credit on your own, get out there and settle the debts that are with collection companies first. Ask for a deletion letter from everybody, regardless of if it's a major bank or not. Always ask, but traditionally the major banks will not give them, but you will get them from the collection agencies. And then don't sit on the fact that they say that they're going to delete it. Be proactive. When the letter comes, make sure you've got an account where you can check your credit every month and be on top of it to make sure it's actually happening.
So one of the things I want people to hear too, and I want you to answer this one because it comes up all the time, and I think that there is some confusion where if somebody sees on their credit report that they have an account that was charged off, in their mind, they believe that that means that the bank charged it off. They don't owe the money. They don't have to pay it back. It's just gone. And they don't really realize that, well, all that bank did was they charged it off for their eyes. They're no longer going to go after you to get it, but they've now sold that debt to somebody else, to the collection company that is going to try to go and get it from them. So I do want you to kind of talk a little bit about when a charge off should be paid, when maybe it shouldn't be paid, if there's different reasons for each, or just simply it should always be paid.
I mean, you hit it on the head at the end. That's usually the way that I go into. So I'll give you this example. When I did my credit repair, I had an American Express charge off for $1,000. And they told me up front, they said, "Hey, George, we want to let you know that we do want to dispute this, because you want to make sure that it's verified, that every piece of that information is verified. And yes, it was my debt." So they said, "George, here's probably what's going to happen. Most likely, if it's yours, it's going to come back verified. And if it does, be prepared to settle for about 50 cents on the dollar." So instead of going into the repair thinking everything was just going to go away, they really set me up to say, "Hey, man, this is probably going to be something you have to address. And let's look worst case scenario. You might need about $500 to settle this debt." Now, once you do, American Express is probably still not going to remove it. However, when a lender goes to look at that, if I'm looking to refinance or purchase, it's nothing that's going to need to be dealt with. If my score is in the right spot, and check me if I'm wrong, Debbie, because you're the expert on that. But if it's at zero balance and it's been a couple of years and the scores are over 700 because they knew all the other things to do on their credit report to make sure they're maximizing everything, even with that blemish, it's still a settled blemish.
Yeah, as long as it's settled, it can even say settled for less, than what the actual balance was. We don't really care as long as it is settled and it is paid for, then it's no harm, no foul. It's not going to hurt the client in any way. It truly at that point just comes down to the credit score and the rest of the credit report. And, but that particular account is not weighing on, whether or not we will or will not lend to them. But I wanted to make sure that people were hearing just because it's charged off doesn't mean that it's gone. Now, I have seen circumstances where I've actually seen student loans, for example, where they're private student loans and the private student loan company will charge it off, but they will also, and you as the person that owes the money, they will send you a 1099 and say, here is what we charged off. We are writing this debt off. Here is your 1099. Congratulations, we just paid you money, right? But in those circumstances, I do believe that they are done with the debt when it says charged off, because they got the 1099. They have to file it with the government. They have to pay taxes on it, basically like it was a gift. Here you go. Here's $50,000 that you didn't pay us back. And you got to pay taxes on that money. But that's a different situation. If you didn't get a 1099 in the mail, that lender didn't reach out to you and say, hey, would you like the 1099 instead of paying us back? If you didn't get that call, that email, that letter, whatever that might be, you didn't get that 1099 in the mail, it was just charged off, you probably owe that money and you're going to have to take care of it, whether it's from a collection agency. And one collection agency, let's talk about how many times have you seen debt sold multiple times, George?
Oh, it happens all the time. In fact, I'm dealing with one right now. Very, very, very rare. I don't know if it's luck or whatever the case might be, but that's the way that it is. But I rarely have something that gets returned. If you've noticed after all the years of our past clients that, the stuff gets removed, it's normally gone. But once in a while in the transition of the removal, it will have been sold. And so it'll show up again from another company. So it can happen multiple times. That's why you want to get it sold as quick as possible, because the first collection company will make a certain amount of phone calls. Then they'll sell it off to somebody else to try to gain their debt back. Now you got another company coming after you. So yeah, it can be sold off multiple times.
He's looking for a pickup for R&L.
We're not R&L.
No, I'm R&L. I'm here for a pickup for unit, for address 05. This is the address that I gave you.
Can you grab Jenny? I'm so sorry. We had actually somebody walk in right now and they're asking questions about a pickup that I'm like, I don't even know what we're talking about. Anyway, yeah, no. So that was very good information, George, because it's just, the charge-offs don't go away and they do get sold multiple times. I've seen a collection get sold and then sold and then sold to different companies. And, is there a rule as far as, how many times or how long? So for example, I know that a collection account can stay on your credit report for 7 years, correct?
Yeah, collection accounts are 7 years, collections and charge-offs. And then if you have anything bigger than that, like repossessions and foreclosures, those are 10 years.
Right. So what if I've seen it before, though, where there's something that's been charged off and then sold and now it's in collections. And I've seen it sold so many times that it continues to go past that 10-year mark. So what does somebody do to try to get that to stop? And can it stop? And does the debt go away after 10 years, or they're just not allowed to report it anymore?
No, statute of limitations is the debt is no longer collectible and is removed from the credit report. But, here's what I tell everybody is be proactive with your credit. Don't just think that, somebody's on the other end of the line and at 7 years, they're going to be waiting for your report to make sure that they take off your negative items. You want to be in control of your credit report, know what dates are coming up and what is what. And that's what we end up doing, is making sure that you're an expert on your credit report.
Yeah, I love that. So I had Susan, she jumps on, she says, how do we get a hold of George? So this is a great time for you to throw out a telephone number, George.
All right, fantastic. Yes, you can reach me at 805-432-6772. Reaching me by text is always the best. Just send me your name and I'll text you back right away on what time I can connect back with you. And look forward to connecting with everybody that's looking for help. In fact, maybe I can throw this out right now. I know we're kind of getting to the end of the show, but anybody that calls, within the next 48 hours from this particular, viewing is going to get a 20% discount on their credit repair. So, we really want to get some people going and get them taken care of.
Oh, I love that. And so just remember, George, that this show does go out to radio Saturday and Sunday. So today is Monday. This show will actually air on Saturday and Sunday in Nevada, Seattle, and Las Vegas, Seattle, and here in Los Angeles. So we'll give you guys till what, Tuesday next week? Can you give them till Tuesday for any calls from the Mortgage Mom Radio show? And make sure you guys do mention Mortgage Mom Radio so that George knows that it was from you. But you can go to his website, which is creditrepairin30.com. So that is creditrepairin30.com. What's your email address, George?
info@creditrepairin30.com.
I love it. info@creditrepairin30.com. This is George Hartman. You are amazing, George, as always. I really do appreciate it. You always give us such great stuff to think about. One thing I want to, kind of leave everybody with is your credit report is everything. And I know that I've said that numerous times, but the higher the credit score, the better the interest rate that you're going to get. And that is for all loans. That's not just mortgage. That's for credit cards. That's going to be for car loans. Anything that you're going out to get financing on or for, the higher that your credit report and your credit score, the better that you're going to get in your financing. So just think about how much that what you pay, how much interest over time, where your retirement ends up, how much additional cash you could have had in the bank if you would have paid, 4% on your car loan instead of 6% on your car loan. Run those numbers, see what you pay over the term of the loan on that car. It just, your credit really is everything, and it really does get you to where you need to go. And that's why this is such an important show. We hope that you guys are all listening. I'm sorry we had a couple of little technicals with George and the Wi-Fi, and then I had some people jumping into the studio looking for a pickup. I think they were at the wrong address. Sorry about those little things, but it's such a great show, and it's so important for everybody to know. And the value that you bring to us, George, is just amazing. And I can't thank you enough for actually doing this a couple of days early. I threw you on the spot and said, hey, can you do it today?
We figured it out.
We did. And I thank you so much for that. And I just want to leave everybody with, does credit repair work? Yes, it does. Do you have to commit and do it with George? Yes, you do. If you want to see the changes, you have to be just as hypersensitive to what is happening with your credit as he is. And let's give him some other pieces of advice, I think, which is really good, George, rolling into your program. So you're not just going to talk about what's on the credit report today and how you can help that, but you're also counseling them as far as maybe if they need to open a couple of credit cards or, kind of give them the rundown of what you guys are going to talk about in that first consultation to get that credit score. The goal is X credit score and how you guys are going to get there.
Yeah, I mean, it really is laying out a plan, and the plan goes in 40-day cycles. So we're going to analyze the credit report from top to bottom, each piece of the pie, credit cards, payment history, inquiries, making sure that you're educated on every single one of those pieces of the pie and that every part of your credit report is maximizing those pieces of the pie. Like for me, I'll give you an example. My credit score today is about 795. And the reason it's not 800 or more, which I might not see, is because I don't have any mortgages on my credit report anymore. When I went through my repair process, I was able to get rid of all that old stuff. And because it's 50 points for a mortgage, I'm going to be lacking that. However, you see, my goal is to get everybody to 750 and above, and Debbie, you can back it up. Anybody that's between 750 and 850 pretty much falls in the same ballpark.
Yes,
right?
they do. Mm-hmm.
But I would not have a 795 if not everything was rounded out and managed correctly, like credit cards and all of those things. So again, we're going to go through everybody's credit report from top to bottom and give them the strategies that they need. Because have there been reports that we were never able to remove negative items? Absolutely. There's a lot of them. The stuff is there. It's not going to go anywhere. My American Express got to zero balance and it stayed there. But I had all the other strategies that I was working on that didn't make as much of a problem because I was doing all the other things. And there are free strategies that I'm able to share with people that, I've used myself that have shot my credit scores up by 90 points overnight. So these are things that people are missing that, don't go to get financing without talking to some credit expert and getting an analysis to know how and and how long it will take you to maximize those scores to put you in the best position so that when Debbie and her crew run that credit, that you are maximizing and getting the lowest interest rate possible, and every 20 points matters.
I love it, George. So last but not least, I know that you said that you are Eastern time. I'm Pacific time. So I want everybody listening to the show, because we've got a lot of people that listen to my podcast, many that watch on YouTube. And so that doesn't mean that you are in California where I am, in Arizona where Heidi is, in Tennessee where Carrie's on her way to. You said you are Eastern time right now. Where are you at today?
I am actually in Bonita Springs. Well, I was actually in Winter Haven, Florida this morning, and this afternoon I'm in Bonita Springs because the wind is supposed to be back up tomorrow. And I plan on doing a little kiteboarding again as soon as I get a chance. But I tell you what, I'm 24/7, Deb. You know, I got my phone with me, and all it is a text, and I can, text you back and be in touch with you in 5 minutes. Credit freedom has allowed me to do what I do today. And I would not be able to have this freedom and chance to do things without great relationships like, that I have with you. And I'm referral only. I don't advertise at all. I only work with a few select lenders to make sure that I have time, to make sure that your clients are taken care of and walk through this process, because I think it's what people need.
Well, and I think it's really important. That's why I asked you that question. I wanted everybody to understand that this is not a state specific, you're not stuck to only helping people that are in California or Arizona. You are helping people across the country. So no matter where you are located at, if you're listening to the show at a later date or you're watching the show right now, if you need George's help, he can help you. It doesn't matter if you're, in New York or New Jersey or Pennsylvania, he can help you. It doesn't matter where you live or that I don't live in your state. Remember, guys, that we are licensed. Mortgage Mom Radio is licensed in numerous states, so we can help you with your lending, very many times where you're going. So we've got a ton of those licenses at this point, but George doesn't care where you are. So if you are listening and you want some help, George is your man. He's going to throw you out that telephone number one more time that you can text him directly, and you are getting George when you do text, and get yourself that appointment, do the consultation. It's $1 to get the credit report pulled so that he can import that information in his system, and then he can actually make you, that plan and figure out what the best way is to move forward to get you and your credit score as high as absolutely possible. So remember, this is not only for somebody that's got a really low credit score trying to fix things, but maybe you're at 700 or 710 and you just really wish that you could get, to that 750 or 780 or 790. Why can't you get there? This could be something that you get the consultation with George, and he can talk to you about those strategies to get a little bit further. So once again, throw it out, George, and then we'll call it a day.
All right. Fantastic. What a great hour. 805-432-6772 is the way to reach me. And I just want to end with this. Guys, there are tons and tons of mortgage brokers, and there are tons and tons of real estate agents, and they all tout the fact that they are 100% committed to their clients. When in reality, I have a question for the ones that don't have a partnership like we have, because they say they're 100% committed to their client right up until the time that they have credit challenges. And all of a sudden they just kind of let them go, right? To go figure it out. And then they're going to come back to them magically and do something with them. And you guys, your entire team has always gone the extra mile to make sure somebody has a road to run on, a track to run on, whether they come back to you or not. You've set them on the path to better credit. And that's just an amazing thing, that you don't just drop the ball and move on to the next person like they're just a number. And you guys really care about your clients. And that's why I love this relationship.
Oh, well, thank you so much, George. And you are absolutely right. We really, truly do. We're doing this show every single week, and it's the education. It's helping the listeners that follow us and, want to know more and want to get to another place and want to have that that portfolio someday and, own a bunch of property. I mean, we're here trying to help everybody. And, in turn, we're hoping that we're, they're enjoying our relationship enough that we're getting their commitment to work with us for their lending when they're ready for that transaction. And same thing with you, right? If we're getting them over to you, we trust you. We know that you're going to help them. I've never seen, again, somebody that was fully committed to your program not come out ahead and, not come back into my arms to get everything moving forward and ready for that new purchase. So thank you again for everything that you do. Thank you for allowing me to buzz you early a couple of days. Sorry about the Wi-Fi.
No problem.
But I appreciate it very, very much. And we'll definitely do another follow-up episode down the road. And again, if anybody out there needs George's information and you didn't get it from the show, please feel free to send me an email to questions@mortgagemomradio.com, or you can go to my website, mortgagemomradio.com, and send me an email through the Contact Us button. And I'd be more than happy to get the two of you guys put together in an email and an introduction. So we hope you guys have a great day. If you're listening Saturday or Sunday by email, get your appointments right now. Talk to us, get your consultation, and we hope you guys have a good one. We'll talk to y'all real soon. Bye-bye.
Debbie Marcuse, licensed by the Department of Financial Institutions and MLS ID 237926. Also licensed in Arizona 0941504, Florida LO 76508, Georgia 69178, Idaho, Nevada 57237, Oregon, Tennessee 184373, Texas, Washington MLO 237926.
She's the mortgage mom. She can get things done when you're in need and don't know where to go. Pick up the phone and call mom.